Hello, hello, hello. Hello and welcome to Shut Up and Sit Down's Cardboard Courtroom. The only legal entity that's double legal.
The only legal entity that matters.
That's right.
If you've not seen this show before, what are we doing?
What are we doing?
We're litigating your tabletop problems.
Yes.
Or video game problems, because it's PAX East and it has video games as well.
It's true. I saw at least 4 video games. They had a video game in an orb, which I've never seen before.
You heard about the orb?
Yeah. They only used to make them in cubes when I was a lad. Now they make them in full-on
3D orbs.
We wanted to rush into the orb and see if they'd let us play the game, but we decided that was a bad idea.
But then someone on the video screen said they did play the game. How's that allowed? Anyway, what's going on here?
What's going on?
We're going to litigate your tabletop problems. If you have a petty concern, a rules dispute, a thing that someone did in a board game that you disagree with, and you want to roast them for it, then here's the place to do it.
But be careful.
But be careful.
There is a system that you will quickly get to grips with, where you come up, you tell us a story, you tell us about a grievance or something that you think someone else has done wrong, or maybe, you know, maybe you're admitting something else that you've done.
Yeah, that's true.
Those ones are the best. Not walk away unscathed. Maybe the people involved will be guilty, but it could be you.
It could be you.
You might be the phone call coming from inside of the house.
It's true.
So if we have any people who would like to line up and become a part as victims/champions of the cardboard courtroom, then please go and stand behind one of the microphones in the aisles and form some orderly queues. And if you can't stand up and get to them, then someone will bring a microphone to you via the medium of fantastic help over there. Surely somebody has some beef with something or someone.
Please, anyone, the format does not work otherwise.
God bless middle-aged men for having beef with something.
Please tell us about your concerns, your problems, your cardboard courtroom litigation.
Wow, how long do I have?
Well, you should probably lay some ground rules. Not that long.
Yeah.
Okay.
The general rule for explaining stories is no actual names of legal celebrities/politicians, living or dead. And if your story involves you having to explain between 3 to 5 minutes of setup for either Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic the Gathering, or a simulated 4-day-long war game, just give us the synopsis.
Give us the juice.
Okay. So I play lots of board games with my family, and I'm usually the one who's read the rules before, and they want me to explain the rules to them.
Nightmare.
So I'm going through the rules, and they get bored and say, all right, just, you know, let's start playing.
Yeah.
You know, we don't care about the rest of it.
That's dangerous.
And I'm like, we need to know all the rules before we start. And they're, no, let's just get started. And then we start playing, and then we happen to have a situation that's covered by one of the rules that they weren't paying attention to, and they say, you didn't tell us about that one particular rule. So
this is textbook cardboard courtroom.
Absolutely. Thank you for starting us off with such a softball. We really appreciate it.
Well, I've been here before, so I knew what to ask.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks. I hate that thing when you do this little like rolling teach and you get halfway through something and then you get accused of using a rule that you didn't teach them to your advantage when they were hurrying you through the teach.
You know, it reminds me of when I was a kid, my parents would always say when you were trying to find something, they'd say, it's always the last place you look. And it took me till I was about maybe 18, 19 before I realized that was a joke. Like,
that's way too long.
I know it is. It's because I said it when I was really young and I just got used to it. And I was like, yeah, it is. And then I was like, hang on, yeah, of course it's always the last place you look.
Because you find it.
It's the same with this. It's like you realize that maybe you forgot to teach a rule at the point at which you see the rule again or you remember the rule again and then you go, and usually, unfortunately, that's going to be when you're about to do
You're about to do it and you go, oh.
I like to have some ground rules with people who teach in games where it's like, if you are teaching the game, then everyone else, to a degree, has to just shut up. Because...
and...
behave themselves.
You've been through this.
Sit down.
Well done. He said the line.
Oh my gosh!
And that's the end of the show.
That's the end of our careers. I think I can't really read manuals. That's a secret that I trust all of you to not share with anyone. I'm really bad at reading manuals.
Matt's never learned a game in his life.
I have, but I do it badly, and then I teach it badly. I'm brilliant at teaching games that I've played once. Play it once, and I can teach it perfectly. And I'm very good at learning games, but it's because I think I have, in the same way that I don't drive cars, I'm very respectful of people who do drive me around in them. It's the same with manuals. It's like, I can't do that, so thank you.
But thank you for your service.
Yeah. I don't know. I think you have to just have a social contract with them. You have to be like, look, we've got two routes here. Either I give you a really fuzzy thing, we get going, and we have to accept that along the way it's going to be a bumpy road, or you have to just sit here and listen to it, and it's going to be kind of boring.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I think you could maybe start doing some psyops by being like, hey, do you want to bake a cake? And then they're like, sure. And you're like, cool, let's just go. And you start cracking eggs, you know? Like, that might be like, I get it now. I get it. But thankfully, and this is very rare, I think I'm happy to declare that this man is innocent.
Innocent. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And we only allow one innocent verdict for the entire panel.
It's very rare.
It's very rare.
Hi, I've got a small beef and a big beef.
Ooh, double beef.
So big beef is that whenever I'm teaching a game, something like Mysterium or Codenames, I'm teaching to my friends. I'm typically the leader because I want to teach them it. They always are so mean. They're like, how can you do so terribly at this? And they hear me and they're just like, oh, you're an awful leader, Victor. And it only happens when they become the leader. They're like, never mind, I get it.
This is hard.
Yes.
Well, at least they get it. Do they forget again, though?
They forget every single time.
He's getting a kind of Edge of Tomorrow situation where living the same game of Mysterium. When will you learn?
In the UK, we have something called CCTV video recording. Now, I'd say maybe just set up a series of cameras around your home, and then at the point at which they start saying, oh, you're bad at this, the lights dim. You've got one of those buttons that, like, you know, the smart home thing?
Yeah, every American home has them.
A big TV slides down, and it begins to show them slow motion footage of them just absolutely eating it, absolutely sucking, you know?
4K, 8K, or...
Yeah,
What a 8K.
the more detail, the better. It needs to be kind of a reverse highlight reel. That's what you want here. Like, all of their worst moments in board games shown to the world.
And then at just the moment where they're like, I get it, right? You start to snap in with some hard cuts, and you've got like footage of them sleeping, you've got footage of their house at night. Like, just lay the law. You know that thing like punch the biggest person in prison? No, punch everyone in prison. All at the same time. It's the only way to be safe.
It's true. What about your small beef?
My small beef is with you guys, actually.
Yes! Wait, hold on. Before we get the small beef, his friends are guilty, right?
Yes, your friends are guilty.
Your friends are guilty.
Are any of your friends in the room? Okay. So you're guilty. The way this is going to work is if you can sit and watch the panel, but like when the panel's over, if you could just go and like line up against the wall, a security team will come and pick you up. But for now, they're not here yet, so just chill.
Yeah.
2 years ago, I was at PAX Unplugged, and you guys did your top 1,000.
Yeah, that was a comprehensive and complete show.
Yeah, how many entries did we do? Like 5?
And you both put my baby at 700-something on the list.
Your baby, specifically?
You said babies in general, but I feel offended.
Oh, right. I was like, damn, that was mean of me. Like, that guy's baby? Get it out of here.
All other babies, a few spaces up, but this guy's baby,
Did you say you had a big beef and a baby beef?
Now I do.
Because when you said you had a big beef and a small beef, I imagined like a normal-sized cow and like a tiny cow. So I was already ready for that baby vibe, so this is great.
Yeah, this is wonderful.
I'm in the zone. Listen, the top 1,000, we are board game critics, and therefore, like, rating everything in the universe to a top 1,000
comes naturally to us.
Yeah, it's something that naturally we have an ability that you don't. And you have to understand that, like, actually, you're looking at it the wrong way. Your baby is within the top 1,000 things in reality.
Yeah.
Reality's a broad canvas.
What did we put up, like, at the top? It was, like, milk or something.
Yeah, it's probably milk. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, so I guess what we're saying is that we're innocent here?
Yes, we're innocent. But I do apologize to your baby.
Yeah, I'm really sorry about that. That's mean. Hello.
Hello. I have a beef with my longtime game group. longtime game group, primarily dominated by women. We've all been playing Dungeons and Dragons. I cannot get them to interact unless something fuzzy and cute bites it.
Right.
As in like...
Bites them? Or bites it as in like... I really appreciate the clarity you provided there. Yeah. I also am just really... The way you described it, I can tell... You're the DM, right?
Off and on, yes.
Yeah. I can tell by the fact that you described it as if you were like, you are in a room playing Dungeons and Dragons. It is dominated by women. What do you do? It was wonderful. I mean, have you just tried like constantly murdering animals within your adventures?
I've had to legitimately resort to this because, like people getting killed, like BBEG walking down the street with a sword, peasant, 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 peasant. They'll get a lemonade and sit down and watch it.
You know, I think, to be serious, I think, people who have come from more oppressed groups are used to that level of violence. So, I think most of the women here, if you're walking down the street and you just saw a peasant being hacked to death, you'd be like, it sucks, doesn't it? But I got to get to work. Yeah, I don't really know what to do. I mean, I think you just need to invent new cuddly creatures and have them being... Have you tried running a...
The solution isn't just to kill more cuddly creatures. They want out of this situation.
But they're not real, Tom.
Well, they're real to the people around the table.
Have you tried experimenting with other factors for motivation, other than murdering peasants?
Yes, like animals, livestock disappearing, murdering NPCs that they're fond of seems to also work.
Right, yeah.
But generally, like, I can't just create a giant line of NPCs they're fond of and then just, like, Game of Thrones them.
I mean, why not?
All right, I got some writing to do, I guess.
I think it's interesting. I mean, all I'd ask is, like, if you find that the ritualistic continuing murder of peasants in town is not having an emotional effect, are you sure that the ladies in your game group are not feudal lords?
They might be.
They might.
In their off time, they might
Republicans. Be. I don't know. Just get a sense check.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say to you. Like, I think just continue to like sigh and roll a dice and go, oh, there's a dead rabbit on the floor.
I think you should start weeping every single time you have to do this.
Yeah.
And then the tide will gently shift. They'll be like, please, can you just kill a person instead of a creature? It's making you really upset. That's what you got to do.
I've had to talk to other dungeon masters about this. It'd be like, the population of bunnies in my world is just canonically decreasing. What do? And they're like, don't know, throw puppies in the mix.
Out of everyone in this room, you're probably the single person most responsible for killing. You've killed the most small creatures virtually.
I know, yeah. I don't like it.
And I can tell it's weighing heavily on your soul and you're seeking absolution, and we forgive you.
Finally, I would say, I've got another great idea just to cap this off, and I think this is universally very useful. Make a PowerPoint presentation explaining the interesting, intricate economics of this world, and show them the effects. So then you can have like maybe an evil guy who's destroying the cabbage fields, and that is having a huge impact on bunnies, right? What I'm saying is, rather than just killing one at a time, if you can insinuate some sort of like mass genocide,
Jesus,
then maybe that'll get them really fired up,
Yeah.
And you can just go and kill a wizard.
Like, you can just for once in your life, you can go and kill a regular wizard. We do such good work here.
My self-help ebook is coming out very soon.
Hello.
Hello. I am suing my beloved husband because we have a board game, Bunny Kingdom, which is a little smelly.
Oh, we know it.
Yeah, it has a persistent mildew smell, is the thing. And whenever I offer it up at a board game night, I'll mention the smell. And I'll say, here we could play Ethnos, really fun set collection game. We could play Bunny Kingdom. It kind of is stinky. And my beloved husband has requested that I stop doing this, and I am suing to keep doing it every board game night that we play Bunny Kingdom.
So this is the first time we've had someone bring to us like a legal dispute with a money element.
Yeah.
Right? You want cash, right?
And I'm sorry, I don't got anything on me. I don't know. Well, I don't really know how suing works.
Maybe we don't. Maybe neither of us know. Maybe this doesn't involve money, and we're just idiots. But I like that idea, so I'm going to keep it in my mind. Bunny Kingdom is an interesting one to bring up because did you know that like I really like Bunny Kingdom? This guy,
I don't remember.
you hated Bunny Kingdom.
Oh, I hated it.
You despised it.
Yeah.
Do you not remember how much you hated it? The vitriol you had for that game.
I was young.
That's true and kind of beautiful. Have you considered like smell profiling the other games just to level it out?
Yeah.
So rather than being like Ethnos is a deck builder, you'd be like, we've got Ethnos. Doesn't really smell of anything. TI smells kind of musty, or you know.
Maybe you start making other games smell a lot more, and then you can have a whole like spectrum of scents for
You
your
could
game
use
night.
a perfume. You could put some perfume on the bunny box, and then you could be like, you want to play Bunny Kingdom? You know what? It smells fantastic.
That's incredible.
It smells so good, you're going to want to take it home to bed.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you want something to eat as well?
Yeah, that's it.
I think that's the only thing I can offer. I mean, have you got anything else you want to sue your husband for? As a double pack, we can do a double deal.
I think that's perfect. It feels like a victory for me, and he's listening right now, so I'm happy.
Can we do you have a yay, nay? Can we get a thumbs? Does the spraying the box with something to make it smell good? Yeah?
That's a thumbs up.
Hey, we found a good middle solution, and that means the money we're going to sue each other, you have to give to us.
Yeah. There'll be a PayPal link afterwards. Oh, wait, shit, no, not PayPal. It'll be something else.
Something else.
Just a QR code straight to my bank account. It'll be somewhere over there.
There'll be a man with a bag.
Yeah, a man with a big bag.
Thank you very much. Not guilty for now.
I think we should release like a line of like board game scents that you can put in boxes. I think that would do gangbuster numbers.
Smell the box.
Yeah, smell the box.
Also, I mean, I think like we have an interesting like 1-2 there of like man who can't stop murdering bunnies, and then a bunny box that has a mildewy smell.
Yeah.
Is it the smell of mildew or is it the smell of death?
Dead bunny. Hello.
Hi. I need you to settle a years-long family dispute.
Oh yes.
Oh.
Juicy.
Oh, it's a family dispute that's lasted a year.
Oh, they're still mad at me.
Oh.
So it's been like almost a decade now. So
Decade. So it's not a
they were-
baby. It doesn't involve a baby.
no babies. So they were playing a board game in the other room, and they called me in to settle a dispute. And the dispute was, if you roll the dice and they fall on the floor, is it a re-roll or do you take the number off the floor? With no previous agreement, I ruled that you would have to re-roll, which made everybody happy but the roller.
Yeah.
So I'm appealing to a higher court. With no prior agreement on dice, would my ruling be upheld?
Yeah, I mean, I think most people, I mean, you have to, this is a weird thing to have to admit, and I hope that you take it with some grace, but like, I'm kind of a weird guy. And I'm not bothered about dice going on the floor or whatever, or anything. Yeah, floor is part of the world. Let's all just embrace everything. However, most people, if something falls on the floor, they treat it as something that doesn't really exist anymore, whether it's food, like themselves, or whatever. Like, it's different now. It's other.
The floor
And
is
I think
lava.
that when a dice goes on the floor, most people would not expect that result to be the one. No one's scrambling around to see it. They're scrambling around to find it, and then we're like, roll it again. So I think you're not wrong. At the same time, I do think that it's nice sometimes to show a bit of goodness. When, like, sometimes I'll roll a dice and it falls on the floor, and I look at it and the result is crap, and I'll say, I'll take it. I'll take it anyway, you know? Because I think that's the point. If you said to them, if we rolled it and it fall on the floor and you'd done really badly, would you have said, let's keep it? Would they have done that? No. And so at that point, really, you're just arguing because they want a 6.
Yeah, that's true. You should just let them like put the dice on whatever face they want. Is that what we're saying?
Well, I mean, this really comes down to like, there's group of people you play games with. The person who got really miffed. Do they play a lot of games?
Oh, we play games all the time. We're all here. The whole family's here.
This is
Not
interesting.
in this room, but
Oh, okay.
one of them's here. But
One of them's
everybody's
here.
at PAX.
Is it the guilty party?
No, I'm having her videotape so I can have proof of my ruling being upheld.
That was a little sneak preview of our verdict there.
Yeah, allegedly is the. I think sometimes it's weird, but like really, it's if somebody gets annoyed about that sort of thing and they don't really play board games all the time, or they're not like maybe up to it, it's fine to let them just win. In the same way, like, you get the sense when you're playing with, like, a child or someone who doesn't play board games, that winning really matters to them.
This is true.
It's like, sometimes you think, well, screw it, just let them have it this time, because, like, does it matter?
To me, there's two ways you can go about resolving the situation. You can either go for the cool guy method, which we employ, evidently.
You can learn about the cool guy method in our ebook.
Yeah, these guys are pretty cool.
It's called the cool guy method.
Cool guy method is that nothing matters and you just vibe it. You just roll it on the floor and you go, do you want that roll? And then you go, yeah. And then you show them and you go, you lost. And you go, oh. And that's how you should play board games. But that's a shut up and sit down method. Or you create a legal contract. That's a little bit stickier.
I think you've ended up in a difficult position as the matriarch of games here. The fact that somebody had to make a call about whether or not it was legitimate. Everyone else was fine with it, apart from that one person. But the bottom line is, if you flipped it the other way, then maybe everyone else would have been unhappy. I think you're in a position where, like, really, if there wasn't going to be an easy, like, everyone's going to agree on this, you had to take a line, and you chose the option which was fair. And if people don't like you for being fair, then maybe they don't like board games.
And now I have a new T-shirt I can get that says Matriarch of Games. So
Yes, indeed you can.
You can have that as a quote. Innocent, allegedly.
Innocent, allegedly innocent.
Hello there. So I'm going to toss a tough one at you. Blood on the Clock Tower.
Oh.
That is a tough game.
That's the litigating blood on the clock tower.
After watching your video some number of years ago, gosh, how long was it? I got into the Discord of a fellow British group, let's say, to play Blood on the Clock Tower. One of my first games, the Snake Charmer got a widow hang, but refused to tell everyone for the entire game, which made the game basically unsolvable. And I was a little annoyed at them because I almost had that information.
So, I mean, I'm just trying to decode this because I'm not super familiar with all of it. It's been a long time since I played it. Is it basically that somebody had a power in a social manipulation game and then they didn't use it or tell people about it in a way which made the game kind of impossible?
Widow is one of the minions that allows...
We don't need to get the specifics of it. I'm just trying to get the gist of, like, the...
They had information about one of the bad guys existing.
Okay. And they didn't share it.
Right, because they were hoping that the widow would come to them, tell them who their demon was, so they can, the Snake Charmer could pick the demon, become the demon, and then win that way?
All right, well, they had a plan, all right? Now, and the thing is, it's very difficult to say when somebody says to you, listen, I thought I could betray the trust of the Demon Lord and then become the Demon Lord and rule over everyone. It's very easy for us to say, maybe you shouldn't do that. It's wrong to want to do that. But I think that you've just got to, like, let people live their dreams.
That's what it says on the wall in my flat.
You can be whatever you want to be.
But see, here's where I was going to turn it into an "Am I an asshole?" pulse.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm actually going to give you a hard one.
What did you do?
Putting myself on trial.
What did you do?
I mean, I basically said, well, F you. I don't want to be a part of this group playing this game.
Right.
If this is how we're going to behave, where people are just going to kind of throw the game, because they ultimately lost because they never got the demon information they hoped to, and it just became very hostile.
Well, it's never too late to walk it back. How long ago was this?
Oh, this was years ago.
Right.
It might be too late to walk it
Well,
back.
I don't know. It might be too late to walk it back, but enough time might have passed that it's kind of an ancient thing. You can just be like, that's silly, wasn't it?
Yeah, you can come back wearing like a big fancy moustache and a top hat and be like, that guy?
I have no idea of who you speak. I am a blood talk tower. Colonel Bloodtalk Tower.
Your love of the game is
name.
really showing right now.
Listen,
But
this is...
am I the asshole?
I don't know. Honestly, I'd say in most groups, perhaps. In some groups, no. In some groups, yes. I've got, to be honest, I have a kind of issue with Blood on the Clock Tower that is kind of adjacent to this, in the fact that I think it is a game, much like lots of the games that we cover that are big games, juicy games, like Twilight Imperium, that are played by different people in different ways. And when you have the groups kind of intersecting in ways where they're not supposed to, that's where you get some friction. And I find that a lot of the time when I see people being like, I'm really into Blood on the Clock Tower, that means they've played it like a lot of times. The thing about Blood on the Clock Tower is I think it's a fantastic game that I would never wish to play with anyone who had played it more than once. Because I don't want people to know the metagame. I just want to have an interesting social experience where everyone's kind of scrambling around trying to work out what's going on in that kind of haunted house puzzle box thing. And every time I've played it with people who know the game, I find they are playing the metagame in a way that makes it not fun for me. And so I think what you might have had is someone in this group that maybe didn't gel with what you were trying to do. And they, to be honest, sound like they were having a great time.
They're a vibes-based gamer.
They were like, I'm going to succeed the Dark Lord. This is the best night in ages. And, you know, I think you'd find a lot of groups that would have a problem with that just as you would. But I think that it's just a vibes difference. And I think you got to, in the same way I see lots of people, like one of the most popular games on Tabletop Simulator, last time I was on it, which to be honest was about 4 years ago, was Secret Hitler. And the idea of playing Secret Hitler on Tabletop Simulator, to me, is quite frankly absurd. I don't know what's happening there. But a lot of people are like, this is what's happening. I love this. And I think it's just a different way of playing. And I think that like it's very easy to look at it and be like, I can understand why people who play based on the metagame and based on how you should play, seeing people who are rogue agents are just like, why would you do this? But at the same time, I assure you, there are lots of people like myself who are just being absolute weirdos and having a lovely time. And I think you're allowed to do that. You know, it's a game where at the start of the game, you get given your identity. You've been explained the rules. You get to be that person. And if someone wants to go and be a weirdo and try and become the Demon Lord, if it spoils the game for other people, that's just tough luck. Because,
they put the role in the game.
Because the game design allowed them to try and trick the Demon Lord, kill them, and become the Demon Lord.
You should let them follow their joy.
And so, it's like saying to someone in a Eurogame, like, you shouldn't be allowed to build that many trains. Like, they can.
And they will.
And they will. So I'm going to say you're not guilty.
But not innocent.
But I'm also going to say that the other person was innocent. Yeah. I hope is that acceptable?
Halo's held up my horn, so I'll take it.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
My friends make fun of me because I like to use the same egg in Wormspan or Wingspan.
And now we're back on track. To his classic cardboard courtroom.
He likes to use the same egg?
They got
I like
a
to pick the
special
same
egg.
color. So like in Wingspan,
Oh.
I'll use like the nice pink color on all my birds because I think it's a flattering color.
So it's not one specific egg component.
No, I don't have like one of the pink ones that I'm like, this one's slightly scratched.
You know, somehow I'm less sympathetic now. I don't know.
Do you bring your own eggs?
No, I pick the same one to add to my thing, and then people are like, don't do that.
People at my game group didn't like when I brought real chicken eggs for my copy of Wingspan. They hated
In this
that.
economy?
They really didn't like it when I was cracking them open directly onto the cards either. But you know,
it's fine when they're boiled, I think.
You've got to cut that toxicity out of your life.
When the little dice tower gets clogged up because you keep putting 4 boiled eggs into it, I think that's a problem, Tom. I really do think that's a problem. I think you're in the wrong.
I scrambled them one time, and they didn't like that either. No, I think this is me.
I'm confused. Like, what is the problem here? Is it just the player color? You're choosing the same player color every time?
No, the eggs in Wingspan are different
I've forgotten
colors.
how it works.
So you can put eggs on your bird's
On the cards?
nest. Yeah, and they're like different colors.
They're all different colors, but
and
there's
I like
no-
to pick the same color when I put eggs on.
There's no gameplay difference.
no gameplay
but they're all like
difference.
different. They kind of look like mini eggs, and they're
Just
all like.
looks nice.
Yeah, they just look nice.
And then my friends are like, stop doing that.
Your friends are so guilty.
You can't have all the pink ones. And I'm like, you can also pick pink ones. I
Yeah.
just also want pink ones.
It will become a problem. Have you ever got into a fist fight with one of them because they've taken a pink and you need a pink and instead you
I
get...
just stop putting eggs
You
on
just
my
stop
board.
playing
I
the
pick
game.
a different... I start making more birds. I'm like, I'll wait to get more pink eggs.
Like, fine, if this is what you want, all the birds are going to die out. That's on you. Look, I think this is interesting, right? Because it's like, all you're really doing is just... It's like bullying a child for liking blue. You know, like, it doesn't mean anything. It's like... In fact, like, you know, Cadbury's mini eggs, they've got them over here. I think they're, like, slightly less good over here, as is often the case with chocolate. I'm sorry.
Well, with most things.
Yeah. I don't know, actually. They've got some good stuff over here. Some of it really works. But if you just go through and just eat one of the colours, like of egg, it doesn't make a difference. They all taste the same. So what's the beef? I think really the issue here is that they all really love the pink eggs too and they want to do it, but they realise that not everybody can do it. Is this the group?
This is the group. This is the group here. Yeah. The culprits of the game.
This is
now this is different.
The plot thickens.
Not greedy. They can also take the pink eggs.
I thought we had a man being bullied for just liking the color pink, which
And now-
I get furious about,
Yeah.
because I bloody love the color pink. But actually, we've got a greedy little hen sitting on all of the pink eggs while his dear friends are desperate.
Please, can we just have one pink egg?
Just a glimmer of pink.
No.
Just a shard. Just a touch of fuchsia, please, 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 please. Sir, share the pink eggs. What I would say to you is, you know, is it an act of madness to kindly email the designers and publishers of the game and ask if you can just have a bag of extra pink eggs? I would say that that game has been wildly successful in a way that most board games aren't, and if they didn't just send you an extra bag of pink eggs with a shrugging like, yeah, we've made more money than we know what to do with, then that would be rude.
Then they would be guilty.
Then they would be guilty.
I think you should have a little personal baggie of pink eggs that you bring for every game, honestly. Put in anything you want.
Yeah,
Twilight
bring your
Imperium,
own.
Here they come.
Bring your own baggie of pink eggs. You can rock up, you can mark them if you want with a little signature, a little stamp, whatever you like. But in the meantime, I think you've got two options. You either have to share the pink eggs, or you have to extort things from your friends in order to leave them pink eggs.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And you have to say, well, what's it worth, right? Start squeezing these people, right? See how much they're willing to juice themselves for their apparent love of pink. The third option you've got here, and this is quite an exciting one, is just metagame it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, have you all racing for all the pink eggs and trying to hold on to them desperately, and invent some sort of system where whoever gets the last pink egg does something. I played a game recently called River of Gold. It's a really good, functional family game, lightweight. I like it. And I put a small plastic caricature of a pickle in the box, and I determined that it's I'm a winning pickle. And if you get past 5 points, you get to take the pickle, and then every time anyone takes over, they take the pickle off of you. That pickle now lives in the box, and it is effectively a rule. So I think just make a rule. Just get a pen, write in the manual, put a post-it note, and make a pink egg rule. Make something that's relating to the pink eggs, and then just roll with it.
You're designing your own legacy game at this point, and it'll be way more fun.
Yeah, maybe you could have like a score sheet of like who had the most pink eggs at the end of each game. Like gamify it. Lean into this madness as hard as you can, like someone driving down a hill with no brakes, but with your friends.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And nobody's guilty.
No one's guilty. Initially, that spoke to me so much. Like, I love having all of the same thing in a little row on a board.
I know you do. I remember when I first started playing board games with you, actually, Tom, I had to be a point where I had to be like, you've got to stop touching my components, Tom. Because you just love organizing things to the point where like, I go and you just start moving it. You start taking my moves for me, and it's like, I get it.
It's not good.
But you can't do that.
When we were playing games on Tabletop Simulator with Pip, my little virtual hand would go across the table and arrange her components, and then she would just pick them up and just throw them off to one side a little bit.
Yeah.
And like a vein would pop in my forehead at the time.
I think that allowed you a rudeness, because you could just move your hands all over her stuff without being anywhere near her.
Whereas in real life, that would be insane.
Meanwhile, though, I had the same system, and the only thing I really enjoyed in Tabletop Simulator was trying to work out when other players weren't looking at their area, because they were off looking at something else, and just sneaking random objects into their bags.
Yeah,
just adding giant dragons and just dropping them in, and seeing what I could get away with just changing the sizes of everything.
Yeah. Something that we should do that more in real life.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that would be great. And just put things in your pocket when you're not looking.
Yeah.
Hello. We have another person.
Hello. So I would like to present to the court a situation where I've had my longtime friends, we've been playing games for a long time, where games will take a lot longer, sometimes double the length, because we get stuck in the hypotheticals.
Guilty.
If you do this, then this will happen. Oh, let's look up that rule in the rule book. Twilight Imperium is a very good example of that. We have friends that don't play Twilight Imperium because they're like, I cannot commit to the time. And we're like, but it's only 5 or 6 hours. And they're like, not with you guys. A recent example is I was convinced to come over and play Ankh, which on Board Game Geek says 90 minutes, I think. Oh, no. It was 5 hours.
Honestly, I mean, those games, like, all of those games by Eric Lang are like edge case city.
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
You live here now, you are an edge case.
Yeah. As we like to call them, they're edging games.
Yes. It's a genre that Board Game Geek refuses to honor.
We've sent them so many emails.
Yeah, so I was told, they were like, oh, it'll take a couple hours, like 3 hours. And I have a little one, I have a 1-year-old. So I was like, yeah, okay, we can do that. And I was like, oh God, please.
No,
get me out of this.
It's honestly, it's unforgivable, even if people haven't got anything better to go and do afterwards. But if you actually have a child you need to go and look after, just no.
Just no.
We were talking about this, about Twilight Imperium in particular last night, actually, and it's like, it's funny, Twilight Imperium is a 6-hour game, right? It's just that the problem is, with certain groups, that last hour of the game lasts 5 hours. And that's a big problem. And it's weird, I've played Twilight Imperium an awful lot with an awful lot of different people, and I've had invitations from friends of friends, and I've got along, and I've had certain groups where I don't say it to them, but I will never play with them ever again. Like, it's just like, this group is perfect, I love playing it with them, this group, hell. I turned up to one place and they all had WhatsApp, and they were using WhatsApp to send secret messages to each other. And it meant the game was no intrigue, it's everyone just on their phone. And I'm like, this isn't fun, guys. This sucks. Anyway, I think it's the bottom line with it is there's a cutoff point for games like that for a 5-hour game. When it gets that last hour, everybody needs to agree that the time for trying to win Twilight Imperium, that was 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's where you implement the air horn. You have it under the table, and when you've had enough, you just put it on the table. First, you put it on the table.
Yeah.
And then everyone knows that it's time to stop, and then you get you just position your hand right on top of it.
The best thing to do is, like, as soon as it gets like 9:45 p.m., if someone goes, can I get the rule book? You're like, yeah, sure. And if you need to, just write rule book on a bit of tape and stick it on and be like, you want more of that? You good? You good? You good to take your turn? You good to take your turn, Kevin? Or do you need more rules?
Do you need more rules? Dickheads. Yeah, we should have a series of fake rule books as well for this purpose. We go, oh, you need the rule book, and it's just a little sheet of paper that just says, like, it's got complete nonsense on it. And
or you open it up and it's just a comic book wrapped up in the.
It's a copy of the Beano.
There's just it's one of those games where, again, I think this ties back to talking about like the Blood and the Clock Tower and people getting into the meta game and stuff. I think it's like Twilight Imperium is a particularly interesting game because it has an incredibly devious set of complicated little bitty rules, and I think the purpose of that is so that it is unknowable and messy, and you make mistakes, and that leaves opportunities for openings and political intrigue where people forgot they could do this, and oh no, now it's too late.
Oh, you guys don't weigh back, because we weigh back, and then it's like, oh no, the last half an hour was for nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Brutal. And I think you just got to roll with that, but some people really want to get it right. And I think that actually, I often win, and this is going to infuriate some people who are big into rules lawyering and trying to win TI, but I often win Twilight Imperium a lot more often than I should, because consistently, I'm pretty cool, I'm pretty chill, I am honest with people. Like, I'm always like, I'm going to have to do this, I'm sorry. And it gets to a point in the night where there's a couple of people who arguably could win, who are just being so annoying and making the game go on forever, that a few people just go, I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Should we just choose someone to win? And they'll be like, how about him? He seems all right. And I'll be like, all right.
This guy seems fine.
And I think that's like, it's a good life lesson. But I do think there is a point where you have to accept that the most important thing is not who wins the game of TI, but the most important thing is that everyone goes home.
Yeah.
and then it becomes a cooperative game. Where we just go, how can we make this end?
Yep.
Yeah. And I don't really know what the solution is, really.
But you're
like
definitely
the
not
air horn.
guilty. And they're guilty as, you can show them this, us just being like, you're guilty. Stop it.
Yeah, you're guilty. You're guilty.
You're guilty. Those people are guilty. You, innocent as heck.
Maybe we have a cycle of life thing. I have a rule, you're not allowed to drink. If you're having an evening game or a day game, you're not allowed to drink in Twilight Imperium until somebody reaches Mechatol Rex, because otherwise the game will go on forever.
Yep.
But at that point, everyone can have
you're allowed to drink water and like soda and stuff. That's fine. He's not dehydrating his friends.
I'm dehydrating my enemies.
Yeah. Hey.
But like, then you can get to Mechatol Rex, you can clink a drink, it's thematically nice, you're all on the planet, politicking can begin. But maybe there is a rule where like you get to a time in the day and it's like no more manual, no more lookups.
No more manual.
Like no more can I look at the manual, and you get to a point where no more secret conversations, they cut off at a certain time, no more manual, and maybe you taper it off,
It's like, you've had 5 turns, we're now in the imagination space.
Yes. Yeah, and then at the end of the night, it's like an escape room. It's like, if the game doesn't end before 11 p.m., I'm locking the door. And you all sleep here.
Yep.
Just be a bit fascistic about it,
Just a little
squidge. Just a little peaky, squeaky, cheeky little squidge. Is that helpful?
Yes, it was very helpful. Yes, thank you.
And they're all guilty.
Yeah.
And I am never. Yeah.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Hi there.
Hello.
I'm experiencing a betrayal at House on a Hill hostage crisis.
Right now?
One particular player, who I love and I'm legally bound to, she makes the stipulation at the beginning of the game, if I become the traitor, I'm not doing it. You have to do it, because I don't want to learn the rules and mess it up. And I think that she's an incredibly intelligent person who can very easily take the 10, 15 minutes to read the little rule book and learn their special rules. And maybe somebody else can get the chance to, try and escape the house alive.
I get this. I do get this. I think this ties into a general thing that people have that I think a lot of people, when they play board games, don't want to play board games full stop, because they're worried they're going to get it wrong and look stupid. And they're going to spoil the game. And I think particularly a game where one person has to do something separate, and they have to get it right, because if they don't get it right, the whole game is spoiled. I think that is a big, understandably a triggering thing for people in terms of being it's fine, it's just all on you, and if it goes wrong, it's all your fault and you've ruined everything. It's a bit are we having fun now? Are we having fun? But it is frustrating when you have people who can do it, and are smart enough, and they'll be fine, they'll be able to handle it. But I think you've got to maybe do a test run.
That's what I was, run a simulation.
Yeah. Just run a simulation game where you can do it without it being a real game.
Yeah, you're going to need 2 VR headsets, digital copy of Betrayal at House on the Hill, and you'll be flying.
Yeah, absolutely.
You run that 1,000,000 times, you create a digital simulation of your wife, and then you just run, an endless kind of... Yeah, there's no problems with any of this.
Then you make a digital simulation of yourself. Yeah. You make the digital simulations fall in love with each other and marry.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you email Fantasy Flight Games and say, fix your game, scrubs.
Yeah. Was that helpful?
It's not Fantasy Flight, I don't think, is it?
No, it's not even Fantasy Flight.
Is that, well, can I just have it, because I believe, do we have the legally bound human?
Yes.
Your wife, it's lovely to meet you. I've heard so much about you. Does that seem like a solution? What is it that it's the fear of messing up the whole game? That's completely fair.
That's very fair.
And we get that, because honestly, I do think that fear of mucking up stuff is the reason why a lot of people won't play board games. Is because, unfortunately, one of the core tenets of things that people are brought up to believe in is one of the worst things you can do is appear to be stupid.
Yeah.
Which is not true. Once you start appearing to be stupid a few times, you really ease into it, and you're actually, you know what?
We've made a career out of it.
Yeah, it's everyone thinks I'm an idiot, and actually... It's fine.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's useful because people talk in front of you like you're an idiot. And you're cool, you shouldn't have said all that stuff. Guess that's your problem, asshole. So just give it a go. But in the meantime, just try and be gentle. And I think that let people find a solution. Be well, what could we do? What? And I think a little quiet simulation, that will work.
There you go.
Also, it could be sexy. Next person, no one's innocent, everyone's innocent.
A sexy betrayal.
Are you interested in my sexy board game simulations? Why am I banned from so many Starbucks? Hello.
Hi. So my beef is with calculators.
Hell yeah,
gamer. Innocent.
We're most of the way into a Twilight... it was Terraforming Mars. Maybe 2 rounds left, the game's going to end. It's a very close race. One person at the table... He pulls out a calculator and starts going through every possible move to find the best one.
No.
Now, to his credit, he found the best one.
Well, of course he did.
Of course he did.
Of course he did. He had a calculator.
But, vibes are off.
The vibes are off.
There's a calculator ban at the table now.
Good.
It's like bringing your dad to a knife fight.
Yeah, the vibes are off. You're 100% right. It's you're in the space. You're not going to get a little calculator out. I was thinking we talked about Twilight Imperium a lot today, but there's a podcast called Space Cats Peace Turtles, and they're Twilight Imperium, obsessives, and they played that game hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times, and unfortunately they just don't get it because it's a vibes game. It's a vibes game.
They are on the, I love them, but they are on the polar opposite of how we play it.
Yeah,
and it's one of those things where I think those people are great. I'd never want to play the game with them.
Oh, it's terrifying.
But calculator is not, that's different. That's not like just, oh, we are approaching this meta in a different way and finding different enjoyments in this thing, which I think is beautiful. A calculator is just ugly. It's not nice, right? Because I feel like
it's a little block of
the
sinful maths.
Who can just sit there and math it all out and get the maths perfectly and work out the best solution. I'm jealous of them. They got big brains, well done. But for me, I like the fact that I have to just vibes it a little bit, and I look at it, and I could sit and work it all out and work out how many points I'm going to get for everything, but I mostly just sit there and go, I feel like doing this will probably make me more money. And then often you're right, but you don't know exactly how right you are. But it's the equivalent of like someone trying to play like a multiplayer game and pausing it every 5 minutes. You know, it's like, I'm just going to go and make a spreadsheet so I can work out the best thing to do right now. It's like, we're having dinner, Kenneth. Like, do you want the chicken or the fish? Like, just, it does feel like cheating.
I think that if you want to make your friend feel kind of like a little more welcome at the game night without going full, you know, calculator ban, 3 sums per game. That's pretty reasonable. I'll occasionally whip my little phone calculator out and be like, what's 2 + 9? Just for, you know, just to ease the little noggin. It's not going so great these days.
You could give them an abacus.
Yep. Or little blocks with numbers on them.
Yeah.
Yeah. All of these options
But I'm also just thinking now that, on the other hand, you could have someone who like really has issues with maths for various weird developmental issues or whatever, in which case saying, no, you're not allowed to calculate it is evil.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like this comes down to like the crunch point. Like, were they doing it often, or was it just every now and then?
This was literally one time.
One time, but it sounds like it took a long old time.
How long did it take?
Like 10 minutes, maybe.
10 minutes. You see, a calculator should be making it quicker.
Yeah.
I can forgive someone if they said, listen, this is the last turn, it's kind of important. Is it all right if I just use a calculator because it's going to take me like 2 minutes instead of like 10? Then I'd be like, do it.
Yeah. But 10 minutes running the full simulation. That's 3 sums. You're allowed 3 sums.
You look over their shoulder and they're just writing the word boobs upside down. And you're like, Ken, the waitress isn't going to come back for another 10 minutes now. I don't know. I think what I would say is that maybe they could get a really nice, cute calculator, or like one that looks like a little panda or something. I've got one of them. And that's nice. But they are guilty.
Yeah, unfortunately, they are guilty. Yeah.
Thank you.
I think they're guilty, really, though, to be clear, of taking 10 minutes of thinking.
Yeah, that's the guilt part. Yeah. Or you could hire a mentat.
Yeah.
From June Style. Anyway, yeah, that's...
Thank you.
Hello. I'm here seeking vindication and validation.
We love it.
For being frustrated with a friend of mine.
Hell yeah.
So we have been playing the board games with this particular friend and his wife for quite a while. They're actually some of the people that got us into board games. Recently, within the past 2 months, we played Let's Go to Japan, which is a really lovely, fun, chill vibe game. And then we got to the end, wherein you are running your itinerary, and I am the rules explainer in our group, so I'm the one who reads the manual, and I had played this game before, so I knew how to explain it. I knew the flow of the game and had done so pretty expediently. We get to the end where we're running the itinerary, and this person insists that I did not explain the stress and happiness scale to them effectively. And here's the part that I would like validation for being annoyed about. They then proceeded to rearrange their itinerary because they insisted that I had not explained it to their satisfaction and that those 5 points would in fact have won them the game. And it took approximately 10 to 12 minutes for us to get back on track. So
how long had you been playing the game for when you got to this point?
How long?
Yeah, how long before you got to that stage? Because it wasn't the end of the game, right? It was just the first stage.
No, it's the end of the game. It's the very end of the game.
Oh.
Yeah, so you lay out each of the 7 days, one at a time, basically.
So at that point, it's like, it's done. It's
Yeah.
I'm sorry we got it wrong, but like, what can we do?
They're so guilty. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I feel like this is, if you want to like, you know, play the game to 100%, then you should be the one who learns the rules.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
To make it worse, this guy does this a lot. We've had to, I am
of
going
course
to
it's
steal
a
the
guy.
air horn rule. I'm going to steal the air horn because I just need him to stop touching his pieces and moving them.
Stop touching his pieces, yeah. I think also I'm still stuck on when you were saying at the start, and it was so positive. I think as a T-shirt, it'd be found I'm here to validate and vindicate. I think that's just I'm like, I'll carry a flag behind you if you want that. So at this point, I feel biased in the fact that like I think you could say anything, and I'd say you're innocent, and everyone else is guilty. I'll kill for you. But yeah, I mean, at that point, it's like. I don't want to be rude to the guy, but you're kind of playing with blocks and, like, you know, Play-Doh. Like, if you go, oh, I don't like this, I'm going to just move all my things around for 10 minutes while everyone else does, it's like, well, what are we doing? Like,
You're like, oh, I didn't quite get it. Just play it again. It's just a good excuse to play the game again.
I am someone who very often gets to the end of a game, and then someone explains something, and we start scoring, and then I go, oh, I got that wrong. And then it turns out that I got, like, no points, because I misheard something, and I'd just done it completely wrong. And then someone explains the way it does work, and I go, that makes sense. This game's better than I thought it was, because I didn't really get what we were doing. But you've just got to laugh it off and accept that you can't turn back time. It's like being annoyed about ordering the wrong eggs at breakfast. You can't
unscramble them.
You can't uneat an egg.
That's true.
That's our motto at Cardboard Courtroom.
You are validated. You are vindicated.
Thank you.
Okay, we got just under 10 minutes left, so now we're doing rapid fire justice.
Fantastic.
Please keep your cardboard justice svelte.
It's fine. We've got enough for everyone to have about a minute and a half.
A minute and a half of justice per person.
So my beef is with my best friend over here. I lost a super fight round like 2 years ago, and this has been living rent-free in my head for the past 2 years. It was a 1v1, so we had to just like concede and move on. My argument is that it's like a 100 men versus a gorilla situation where there's 50 Chuck Norrises that shoot lightning, and they have to scream the names of their attacks before they use them versus...
Oh, no, that's mine. His is the one electric eel armed with a long electrified whip, frost breath, and has majestic flaming antlers growing out of the head. I would just like to reiterate, there's 50 Chuck Norrises that can shoot lightning.
Right. Yeah. This is a really easy one. I don't care. I think it's all made up. And you should just imagine all of the eels and Chuck Norris getting it on and having a lovely time. And then you can forget about this imaginary violence, because we've got enough violence in the world. You don't have to keep imagining your own home in your head for fun. Imagine some weird, sexy times, shake hands, and agree that everyone wins.
Your Honor.
I don't think this is a contentious issue, but...
That's a red flag.
The people that I brought it to seem to have differing opinions. I don't think that when you introduce a game to people, you should, like, wipe the floor with them, maybe beat them. But I was at board game night last week. This guy was really excited about bringing First Rat to the table, which I had never played. No one else at the table had played. And the thing with that game is, like, the way you score points, whoever scores a certain victory condition first, like the amount of points you get for scoring that later is less.
Mm-hmm.
So it feels particularly bad to be like falling behind. And anyways, he like rushed through the rules explanation, was very kind of like quiet and Machiavellian when we were playing, and then like just doubled a point value at the end of the game, and it just kind of made it not that
I think you're allowed, if you're the teacher, you're allowed to win the first game, but you've got to be real chill about it. That sounds like someone came to like wipe the floor with their friends. Yeah,
they came to eat.
They came to dine. And that's not allowed.
It's not cool. Often you'll find these are the same people who are very keen to come to conventions and play board games with strangers, because all the people they play board games at home don't want to play that game with them anymore. Because they're fed up of like being destroyed by people. And like, I get it. Like, you should try and lose. I've had a problem recently where sometimes I'm playing a game with like a child, and I know they're going to get very upset when they lose, and so I really try not to win, but then somehow they keep doing everything in a way that like, and like, you're really trying not to win, but you still beat them, and it's just like, I'm doing my best here. And I feel like that's the like that's fair.
Is that's the mentality you're meant to bring into every single game as the teacher?
I feel like you want to, you know, if somebody, especially it comes down to that like feeling. If somebody you feel like is a bit nervous, a bit worried about getting it wrong, like giving someone that feeling of doing well and being like, I won, I did really well, is so important and so valid. And I think that like often it doesn't cost anything. That I think like the polar opposite of that. I mean, honestly, like whispering rules and then being like 3, 2, 1, go is it's a bit like shuffling someone down an alleyway and having them stabbed by your friends.
Yeah. And that's not good.
It's not good.
It's not allowed.
So that's our verdict. Not cool.
Innocent, guilty, not guilty, and just not cool.
My family and I play Mysterium a lot, and my position in this is that the crows are bullshit, and the game is much more fun if the ghost can just, you know, cycle out cards as many times as he or she wants. And my family disagrees very vehemently and say it's a skill issue and that I just suck at the game. So I would like the final verdict.
I love this is normally like, this is an inversion of the classic situation. Yeah. I want to play a game in a really like intense way and my family are like, please, can we chill out? But no, the family are game for it.
Yeah, I love this. I love it. It's like, my family say I'm dumb. Are they right? Which is great. I think, again, that's fascinating. And I kind of see it. On the one hand, I'm like, I do think that to make it work as like a game, the Ravens are kind of important. The Ravens friendly people basically allow you to refresh your hand of cards, to give better clues, to hopefully find yourself less stuck with cards that you think, I don't know how I'm going to guide them in the right way with the pictures I have here. On the other hand, I do think, I love Mysterium, it's a great game, but I do think there's two things about Mysterium that over time have really come out and shined for me. One, it just has slightly too many rules, and two, it goes on for a long time.
Yeah.
And I think that actually, removing the Ravens and making it a little bit more faster with those cards, I think would solve both of those problems. You'd still have the same issues of like, this is perfect. This card, they're going to get it in one, and then they completely go off down the wrong way. It doesn't matter how good, I don't believe it would matter how many cards you had. They're still going to cock it up, like all the time. So I don't know, I think maybe it might make it too easy though. They might be able to just find all the cards that have doors on or something like that, but I feel like it's worth a go. I think your family should allow you to try and suggest a modification. I feel like you saying you should just be able to do it whenever you want, I think that's too strong.
That's too much.
Step down the alleyway a little bit.
Find a little bit of compromise.
Yeah.
Yeah, kinda guilty.
Like, maybe you could say, let's have like 5 crows. Let's have more crows.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because if they love the crows so much, why don't they marry more crows?
Yeah.
That's what I keep saying. So I think you're innocent and your family currently remain not guilty.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And good for them.
Good for them.
We have our final guilty contestant.
Yes. My friend group is absolutely obsessed with playing Veil of Eternity because of a video that you guys made. But there is a card in the game that's absolutely broken. We know that if you get this card and have like basic synergy, you just win. And so we've removed it because we all agreed it makes the game not fun. But now, in an expansion, they have created a 2-card synergy, that if you get these 2 cards before round 6, you're guaranteed to win. But you need to get both cards before round 6, and both of those cards could be used in other things.
Right.
What do we do with those cards?
All right. So I've got a question, because I played this game, but it was a long, long time ago, and I don't think I played the expansion. Are there any ways in this game to like stop other people from playing cards or to take cards off them? Is it just a case of they're milling the deck, and if they find them, there's nothing you can do about it?
There is a mechanic, but you can't take them like out of their hand. When they're played on the board, you can take them off, but there's no guarantees that you'd have to have them played on the board. You could hold them in your hand until the round.
And then suddenly go, ta-da, I've won.
And you win. Because you just get like a ton of points.
That does sound a little, and there's nothing you can do to stop it.
Yeah, Matt, did you play this game for the review?
No, I didn't.
This sounds broken as hell.
It's like, it's in the expansion, and the card that like is guaranteed to win, you have to like realize, we play it a lot. So we've played it a ton.
Right.
So once we've played a lot, you realize, oh, okay, that's
They got a metagame cooking.
Well, I think at that point, like, you're kind of at the stage where you've got 2 choices, right? You either accept that that's just part of the metagame and start to work out ways around it and work out how you can, like, punish people for trying to get themselves in that position, and maybe psych people out and start being like, making people think like you've got that combination when you haven't. Or you can do what like a lot of people do when they've played a game far too much and just start like, it's a game with little sleeves. So there's nothing stopping you putting a bit of a post-it note on and just changing the rules, just playtesting it and being like, hey, how about we change this slightly? How about we make it work for our group a little bit better? Now you've seen through the veil and seen the game is broken. Because I think it's fine for games to have broken cards.
I think it's fun to have broken cards. I think what you do, though, is an even more ingenious solution that I just came up with, which is that each game someone gets to shred one of the cards. And now you've got Veil of Eternity Legacy, budget version.
Yeah, or just like, dip them in ink or something.
Dip them in ink, do whatever you want. Make combinations of cards, whatever you fancy.
You've got options.
Games are your oyster. They're made of cardboard and not code, and therefore you can do with whatever you want to.
100%. And I think at this point, you probably know the game better than almost everyone.
Especially us.
Including the designers at this point, was it John DeClaire? No, it was someone else. I can't remember. Whoever it was, they've probably forgotten a lot of it anyway, so you've probably got their blessing to just do what you want with it. Run off into the woods, take it away, make it your friend, your lover, your children. The air
the
around
world's
you.
your oyster.
You're free.
You're free.
All of you are free, apart from maybe that one guy who was guilty, who will be taken away shortly. Thank you so much for coming along
and litigating.
Yeah. Thank you for allowing us to do this and coming to watch us do it. It means a lot. We're two stupid men from Britain. We do Shut Up and Sit Down. It's a YouTube channel. You should watch it, because if you don't, we don't have livelihoods. Thank you.